Tuesday will be in the PEC. We'll go till from 3:05 to 5:30. Then on Wednesday, we only get the gym until 5 o'clock because they're doing a Marchapalooza thing that comes in. They're going to practice. The gym's off limits to us on Thursday, so we have to go to the high school for an evening practice. Turn around Friday, back to the PEC regular practice. Then we have a Saturday morning, then we have a Sunday evening as we try to get ready for our first games. 2 weeks prep is hard to do to get ready for a season opener, especially if you want to play at a high level. And hopefully, if your son makes it, we can work it out. And we'll talk more about the contract situation with missing practices and so forth. The packet of information is kind of everything I'm going to cover. There's a few other things I'll cover that aren't necessarily in there. But hopefully, by the time you leave, at least you have a good feeling that you kind of know where we're coming from as coaches. So I'll introduce myself. I've been at the helm here since 2000 and I think 2012 was my first year. Sometimes it's hard to remember all that, but I'll go to me first. But I've been here a while. I've had some really good teams. I've had some teams that were very talented but just didn't show up in the win column. And I had some teams that maybe underperformed for whatever reason. You know, there's always a wide thing that goes into coaching. I always tell people to be successful in coaching, you got to have talent. You've got to have smart coaching decisions, and you got to have a little bit of luck. And sometimes you don't get all three of those factors. I was fortunate enough in 2016, 2018 to get to state tournament, and the joy that I had doing that is almost like having your first child. You're excited, not just for yourself, but those that are going to be around you as well. So we've had some talent, and we're hoping that this year will be another one of those years where we have some pretty good talent. So I'll go back to the first guy, Josh Adams, and I'll let Josh introduce himself. Josh played for us on that 2016 state team. And so he's coming back to serve as our freshman coach. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Coach Adams. I've been back into coaching basketball for a little over a year now. Doing it at the AAU level over at Drive 5, coaching a lot of games, seeing a lot of faces, a lot of different skill levels, and just working with what's put in front of me and enjoying it a lot. Looking forward to doing it with the freshmen this year and everybody else in the program and involved in the program. So really excited to be back, and hopefully we can get another run at state a couple years in a row.
Coach Davis, you've known for a couple years now, but Coach Davis taking over. He had a JV 2 years ago, went down to freshman last year, now he's back at JV again. So go ahead, Coach Davis.
Well, no stranger in the community. And most of you know I'm a police officer for Barnes Springs. I retired from there. I always want to be part of this community, so I enjoyed working as a police officer and also being I'm a teacher at the school, so I enjoy doing that. And also coaching basketball as well. I coached a summer league over the summer, so it was great. But last year around this time, I was struggling. I was battling cancer at that time. And so this year, I'm much better. I feel better. I'm excited about this year. I'm ready to get this season going. So I'm looking for a great season this year.
Coach Evans is new to us, and if you look familiar, his sister is Megan Harrell over at high school. So go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Coach Eve, Coach Jeff, whatever one's easier for you. I am a stranger to the community. Just moved here from Atlanta. It was supposed to be short term. I was going to move to Texas, and then I heard they were looking for a new basketball coach here at Bonner Springs, and I think my sister would have a lot to do with that too. But I came from Voorhees College. I played at Voorhees University, South Voorhees University down in South Carolina. I played 4 years there. Where my senior year we won a championship. That hasn't been done since 1997. So being able to kind of bring a championship to the school was a very, immaculate thing for me. I brought a lot of joy. The national championship was actually held here in Kansas City, so that's kind of why I was able to kind of get a lot of my Kansas City roots. Lived here briefly, then I moved, and it feels great to be back. So, glad to be a side coach right here. Looking forward to teaching the kids, looking forward to kind of getting them exposed, getting them out there so other colleges can see them. That's pretty much my overall goal. I want your kids to be seen. So working alongside Strike, trying to learn the ropes here and see if we can kind of get this winning season going. So looking forward to meeting you all and working with the shop.
And the nice thing about Coach Evans and Coach Adams, it brings the two of us a lot more energy too. It's kind of hard to keep up with the young kids once in a while. The nice thing too is Coach E is very big on social media, so he's the one that's kind of formulated our Instagram page, getting things out there, and he's got quite a few followers now. KU now is actually following too, so who knows what opportunities that can lead to for our young men. The informational packet, like I said, has a lot of information in there, especially if your son makes the team. Normally we would do this after we've picked the team, but I want everybody going in knowing the same standards and rules that we're setting. So when they show up for that first day of tryouts, there's no questions. They know what's expected of them. So you'll see a lot of things that are in there. Hopefully your son will have a good experience with it, and hopefully we can teach them to, not only be just a productive player, but maybe a productive individual within our community for the future. That's kind of what coaching really is all about. Now, the expectations that we have for this year, a lot of this is also coming from the state. The state is having a hard time getting officials. And the number one thing they're saying from their standpoint is unruly coaches, unruly parents are what's getting them out of the game. Most of the officials that we've worked with, I would say I'm very respectful of them. We've had some really good ones, we've had some really bad ones. The biggest thing is understanding they're going to make mistakes. They're humans. We could see games where we have 2 officials versus 3, depending on how the shortage is going. Also, I know we have a Monday game scheduled and then a Tuesday game. I don't know if that Monday game was scheduled because of a shortage of officials for that night. I don't know. I only go off what Mr. Hitchcock tells me. But what we're looking at for those expectations, players play the game, respect opponents, try to be perfect. We know they're not going to be perfect, but we want them to try to be perfect. Be committed to the team cause, play hard, represent the team, the school, and community with pride. And I would say most of our teams have hit all 3 of those consistently. Parents, they're telling you, watch the game, that's your main role, cheer in a positive way, treat players, coaches, opponents, and officials with dignity and respect. And I know sometimes it's hard to bite your tongue. When these kids get in summer ball, play with AAU officials who let anything and everything go, then they come into the high school and they continue that trend until somebody at the state says you got to change that. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. As coaches, we're expected to coach the game, treat team members, staff, and parents with honesty, dignity, and respect, put players in situations in which they can be successful, challenge them to be the best, but also be positive role models for other players. And so the last couple of years, we've not had real good leadership from the seniors. And I'm new to clicker, so. Not yet. But the biggest thing that we want guys not to just talk the talk, we want them to walk the walk. And there are vocal leaders and there are leaders who lead by example. And we've had guys who talk the thing, but then you see them later, they're doing just the opposite. And so we're trying to find those individuals. And it could be a freshman. It could be a sophomore, junior. It doesn't have to be a senior, but we'd like for our seniors to take ownership and become those positive role models. Now, Rule 52, this is the official state listing over here on the side, but I was given this video by Mr. Hitchcock. He wanted us to play this for you. It's about a 5-minute video, so I'll run back there real quick and hopefully get it started right. But I would say sit back and enjoy it, but you'll understand where these officials are coming from. It's tricky, that's why.
Want me to just zoom in on it?
Yeah.
Do you want to make it full screen?
Now we won't have internet service.
If you want, you can connect it to my hotspot if you need to.
Well, maybe it's not going to play for us. Oh, there he goes.
Hi, I'm Gene Steratore, CBS Schools analyst and longtime sports official. For the adults watching this video, you grew up in a world where officials, umpires, and referees for youth sports took their place regularly and reliably ahead of game time. Today, unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to fill those jobs. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media. And there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Massive shortages of officials now lead to games being canceled, and the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. I'm hoping we all can begin to see youth competition through a different lens. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule.
Any call, any decision, any human effect on wins and losses has become subject to not just withering criticism, but physical threats. There's a vicious cycle at work. Fans chase away officials, and there's a smaller pool to draw from, which makes it harder to get quality, well-trained people in position. The entire game suffers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines? This sort of verbal abuse and threatening behavior takes a toll on all officials and makes them leave the game altogether.
Did you know, from 2018 to 2022, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, have quit. Half of the remaining referee population is at least 50 years old, but young officials are rarely staying more than 3 years in the job.
If the number of officials working contracts in all sports doesn't begin to increase, there won't be enough officials to work the games. That means schedules will get cut, teams or even sports might get canceled. In many states, this is already happening.
Remember that officials are invested in what they do. Many officials have regular, full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing time away from their families. Try to demonstrate empathy, put yourself in their position. Think how you would feel about getting yelled at throughout your workday.
Yelling and arguing with officials sends the wrong message to young players. According to Play by the Rules Sports Advocacy, it teaches them that it's not okay to make a mistake. They can blame others for their actions. They can disrespect authority figures. And it's okay to be rude and selfish.
You know, officials enforce rules, keep competitions fair, and make player safety a priority, allowing youth sports to be a valuable arena for growth. We can all just work together and be more empathetic to not just the officials, but everyone else in youth and high school sports. We can then preserve what many of us have embraced about athletics. And you and I know the benefits of sports, right? Let's spread that gratitude and be proud of what we can build and not blind to how it's being torn down. Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
So what happens now? Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control, and we have an experiment for you to try. Simply stated, just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Your child's sporting memory should be about how you helped inspire and not about how you caused embarrassment.
And knowing some of these officials who have left the game, some not necessarily because of any abuse they've taken with parents, or you might have to click that up there for me, Nathan, since that video's on. Go to the next slide. So a lot of them left because the college games pay a little bit more money than what high school is. And so some have left for that reason. Some have left because as coaches, we have some people who are very livid on the sidelines, almost comical to a degree, but it's almost like they become the show more than the kids. And some of the officials have got tired of that as well. Because no matter how much they try to curb that enthusiasm, no matter how much a school district tries to curb that enthusiasm, schools, I think, are afraid that those coaches won't coach anymore. And so the state's now worried about these officials not officiating anymore. So we've got to find a common ground. So that's kind of the basis of that message is come to the games, try to curb yelling at the officials. It's hard to do. We're all passionate about things. But try to find a way to use your energy in a more positive way. That's all they're asking. That came from the state. So, player contracts. There's a copy of the player contract in that packet that we have the kids sign. We have you as a parent sign. When you go through the contract, we're not saying that you're signing this and agreeing with what we're saying. All we're asking is your signature to say that you read through it and you understand what some of the consequences could be for your son if they make the team and violate some of our team rules. Okay? So that's what that's about. We also have some things there for parents to read through. We also are videotaping this because I know there's some parents that can't attend because of other things, but our goal is if you're here, you signed in, you've been at the presentation, your kid is good to go for the first game if they make the team. If you're not here and your kid makes the team, then they're going to have to sit down and watch the video with their child and then sign off on it. We've got to have it on record that they've been through it before our first game takes place or the first time they step on the floor to make sure they know the expectations. So here are some of the expectations for our kids. We expect them to be in attendance. We expect them to be on time. We start practice normally at 3:05 every day. So if they get out at 2:50, that's a 15-minute window for them to say hi to their girlfriends, run stuff out the car, and get ready to go. More than enough time for them to get there. Once 3:05 hits, we go. If they're late for that, we have some punishment for them. If they're going to be late, it's their responsibility to let us know. Now, if your child is sick, maybe they're asleep, maybe Coach Strike doesn't know, or maybe Coach Davis doesn't know, send us an email. At least let us know where your child is, because if your child's not with us where they're supposed to be, and you think they're here, and something happens to them, we're all kind of concerned with why weren't they here? Where was there no communication? So we're going to make sure they can communicate with me. Most of the guys who made the team last year, I know they have my number to text me if they need to be, but I know the district's trying to get away from doing that and more through like a Google Classroom type situation. So we're trying to work on that as well. But if it's a dire situation, they need to get a hold of me. It's their responsibility first to contact me. It's not, hey, Jermaine, would you go tell Coach I'm not going to be here today? That's not Jermaine's responsibility. Okay? Players will make it in this practices and games. We handle it through extra conditioning before the coaches have to practice. Could be full court bridges, could be things I call killers, some extra running. Something that will hopefully be strenuous enough that they felt like they went through another practice. Player earns their playing time in practice. No player is entitled to playing time. They've got to earn it. They've got to work hard for it. One thing that we didn't really stress last year, we're going to this year. Keeping cell phones out of practice. It's like anytime the kids have a minute window, they're over there on their phones looking. It's like, Okay, we can understand if there's a situation where maybe mom went to the hospital and you're just trying to check up on mom. Come talk to us about that. Don't just pull your phone out and just be expected to be okay. We want full participation. We want their concentration with us. They've got to stay focused. We talk about things, we demonstrate things, and then we put kids in those situations and they can't do what we've asked them because they weren't paying attention. We expect them to have good grades. I have access to their grades, and I go through each week and I check. We run for D's and F's. There's no reason for them to have those. Now, there are some teachers, I was at the high school, I know, that wait to put in their grades sometimes. Stick on those teachers. Make sure they're getting their grades put in. But for the kids part of it, get your stuff turned in on time too. Because I know teachers sometimes approach it, you took your time to get it to me, I'll take my time to grade it. I don't agree with that, but that's how they are sometimes. Players are also responsible for their social networking sites. You would be surprised in the last 10 years how many people I've seen social media posts that get to me, and the only thing I do social media is Facebook. But I'll have people send pictures of certain things going on. Players need to be responsible for that. We don't want derogatory statements or inappropriate photos. Keep it clean. Players should refrain from drugs, alcohol, racism, or violence. It's not tolerated. If you're involved in this, you could be removed or you could just face a suspension, depending on the situation. Nothing in this world is ever equal. And I think you guys understand. Certain situations have happened, circumstances take place. At the high school, I would give a prime example, there was a fight. Kid came up, punched another kid, but the other kid got 2 days ISS or OSS, even though he didn't do anything. Okay? Those you have to take the situation and talk to the principals, administrators, find out what's going on, and then as coaches, we can make those determinations of how we can punish them. But we'll kind of go through Mr. Hitchcock to make sure that we have our bases covered. Parents' expectations, kind of the same thing again. Always show you support for your child regardless of the circumstances they're under. Support your son's team and coaches in a positive manner. Enjoy the games. Your son's time as a high school student is a fleeting one. Make it a time to remember. And I think, especially my seniors that are in here, my juniors probably know as well, it seems like this year's just flown by. And as parents, we know the older we get, things go faster. It just seems like yesterday my oldest was just graduating. He'd been out of college 2 years, or high school 2 years. I just never realized how much they spend with high school and how much they need to learn to enjoy that. And so it's something they got to make it something to remember. Down in the bottom one above the numbers, it says when a situation occurs related to your son that raises concern, so if your son's being picked on, maybe there's a situation we're unaware of, set up a meeting with us. Talk to us about it so we can kind of figure out maybe there's something we can do to help you. Okay? The only thing we never really discuss is playing time. That's up to that player to come talk to us about it. Okay? Then, if a situation doesn't get resolved, arrange a meeting with the coach. If that doesn't get resolved, arrange a meeting with our athletic director. If that still doesn't get with our school administration, there's avenues for you to go through to hopefully curb that situation. Tryouts. We start Monday. Cuts are never personal. I always tell the kids. It has nothing to do with who you are or what is happening at this time. We got a short amount of time in which to get a team formulated. And so what we try to do is put the best talent, the hardest working kids, into a bubble and then pick from those kids. It helps if we've seen them during the summer. It helps if we have them in conditioning, but kids are spread out in other sports. So we can't always see them. So when we have that week tryout, it's kind of a quick situation we have to take care of. A lot of the kids feel like we're crushing their dreams. We're not trying to crush your dreams. We just have a job to do. We're trying to do it the quickest way possible. But we held starting the 14th through the 19th, usually 3:05 to 5:30 in the field house. There's, like I said, Thursday night, we go over to the high school. It's a little bit different for us, but we have to work with other programs at the building. All players trying out must have a following on file. You've got to have a concussion form and their physical form. Those are the two biggest ones. A third's the waiver. So players, if you haven't turned them in, if you weren't playing another sport, get them turned in. Come Monday, they're not there, your chances of making the team start dropping. Okay? Need to have that taken care of. Should be gym shorts, t-shirts, basketball shoes. I've had kids show up in jeans. I've had kids show up in dress pants. One, they weren't able to get home and get their stuff, so they couldn't afford shorts, and that's just what they had. So we work with it as best we can, but that's what we would prefer. Each player that's cut or who makes the team, we do evaluations with them. And we will talk to the kids first that we're cutting and let them know why they're being cut. And there's a little evaluation sheet we give them. And then when they make the team, we try to talk to them either as a small group or individuals to let them know, here's some things you can work on that will help us. We try to make our varsity cuts by Wednesday because most of the kids that have played varsity have been with us. They've been in the summer program. They've done some other things, so we've got good eyes on them. There are occasions we've had kids come in that we haven't seen. They go, oh wait, this kid might do this. Or we've had kids who got cut like their sophomore year, come back out their senior year, make the team. So there's no set thing that we go, oh, these kids automatically in, these kids automatically out. Everybody has to try out because we might see something we've never seen before. But Wednesday's usually the last day we try to do for varsity. We try to get JV done by Thursday and freshman by Friday. And if any indication of open gym, we've had 15 to 18 freshmen showing up. So that's a pretty good number to work with. And I know we've got a couple kids who transferred in or moved in, and so that adds to that mix. So we'll try to get it done. It'll be tough, but short amount of time, but we'll try to put a good team together. When I break down the teams, I try to look at 8 varsity. If you carry more than 8 on a varsity team, and a parent show up because your son's on that varsity team but doesn't play, the parents are a little upset. And so you don't want to give false hope to the kids saying, well, we got 8 varsity, we're going to take 12 for this tournament. 5 may not play, 6 may not play, and then those parents are upset because they paid the money to get in that tournament, their son didn't play. Well, every game has different situations, it has ebbs and flows. Certain kids work in certain things. Other reasons we take more of the kids than what we normally would is because we're just trying to equal out, you know, layup lines and whatnot for games in case foul situations, you might have to use them. Usually around 8 JV, some of those guys suit varsity. We try to keep about 12 freshmen. I've got 32 uniforms. And in the past, when Coach Price was here, I know we carried 32, but we've carried anywhere from 24 to 32 kids. We've had kids start the season, get injured, can't play anymore, kids quit. So that's just kind of what we're looking at, but it all depends on the talent pool we're working with too. Team members, once they're chosen, they have to have a signed contract with us on file. We provide them practice tops, practice shorts. They have to be worn practice each day. We're going to condition them if they're not. Travel bag, which will have a home and away jersey, a shooting shirt, and a travel jacket. So we provide these things for them. A lot of programs don't do that. A lot of programs make the kids buy their own things. We at Bonner have been very fortunate enough that as coaches we've been allowed to provide a lot of these things. The kids are responsible for the care of this equipment. Normal washing and assuring the quality is really big. I had one kid 2 years ago take a jersey home and somehow the magic marker got stuck in there. And so we have the black uniform for it, but the white uniform is yellow, brown, and something else now. So we had to purchase a new uniform to replace it. The uniforms aren't cheap, especially if you're wearing brand name, ours are Nike, and those are anywhere from $75 to $85 just for the top, and then separate for the shorts. So we want to make sure the kids are washing them appropriately. We prefer to wash them in cold water. That tends to keep brightness. They're only supposed to wear their practice gear during practice, game gear during games, jackets only on game days. This is not their personal wear. They need to make sure they take care of it. It lasts because most things, I get a certain budget. There's first things I replace are basketballs. And basketballs are $89 a piece, and you're getting 12 of them, and you only have a $3,500 budget. Start swiping out your budget. So we'll make sure to take care of it, but just use it for what it's intended. Again, cell phones, they can put those away, expect them to dress nice for home games. And what I mean by nice, no ripped jeans, no ratty tennis shoes. Look nice, a nice polo or a nice t-shirt that's plain on the front. Everybody can afford different things. And we're not going to put a price on it. And that same thing with game shoes, basketball shoes. If you are purchasing shoes, all I ask for is school colors. Okay? There might be some neon colors mixed in and whatnot, but primarily the black, the orange, the white, the gray, that works well. Neon green's not a great favorite color line, but you can afford what you can afford. If those are the shoes that you found, they fit, that's what you can afford, I'll work with them. They're going to be providing a playbook. They have to sign it or check out. It's got to be turned into this at the end of the season. And that's the end. The biggest thing is making sure that your son has the proper forms on file come Monday. And they need to not turn into one of us. We'll lose them. We've been told they have to go directly to the athletic office to Rhonda Hill. She'll take care of that. Then she lets us know. She usually texts me by 2:50. Here's what she's got in. Kids show up, and I ask them, I don't have you on this list. You need to go over and see Rhonda, and she'll clue you in on what's going on. And maybe there's something with signed, maybe there's a piece of paper missing, but she'll take care of all of it. It kind of allows us just to coach. Okay? So, with that, make sure we get those turned in. Do you guys have any questions for us as coaches? Yeah?
Where is the athletic office?
The athletic office is in the high school. You go through the main office. It's in the back corner there. So if you go into the front office, those secretaries will direct you to where it's at. Okay? Another thing that we talked about, we're going to do a fundraiser. And I'll let Coach E talk about that for here in just a second. But one of the things we're trying to do is provide meals for the kids. A couple years ago, the lunchroom provided snack meals for the kids to take. We're trying to give them a little bit something more harder because when the freshmen and JV leave early, they may not get to eat until 7 o'clock that night. So we want to try to get them some food. So that's one of the reasons for the one fundraiser we're doing. So do you want to talk about that real quick?
Real quick, yeah. So decided to do a quick fundraiser. Coming in, being new to the culture here at Bonner, I just kind of wanted to do something different. So I wanted to do like a blackout for the first game. So the first shirts, Coach Adams here, me and him were able to kind of come up with a nice, pretty cool logo. Bonner Braves basketball on the front, shirts all black. Those will be available soon. We'll roll it out. I'll have Coach kind of send out the emails so the parents can have access to that as well. I'll also put it on our social media page as well. We'll do like a 10-shirt giveaway just to kind of bring more, more attraction to to our page. We just, like I said, we want to get these guys exposed and get them out there. So we just want to keep it fun, anticipate the season coming up, and get some people in here to kind of get to see them. So looking forward to it.
Something that I would ask as a coach for parents who go to the game, if you take any pictures, whether it be just your child or the team playing, share those with us. We can put those out on social media. I know she was complaining the other day because some of the pictures I had given her were 2 years old. She wants to update our page at the school. So if you get pictures, share them with us. We'd love to have them. But if you don't want to share them, that's fine too. But she's always asking me, well, did you take pictures during the summer? I'm coaching. How am I going to take pictures? And so she said, what about your wife? And I said, I doubt she took pictures, but I'll throw that out so any other parent that might do that would be great. Also, I know that Coach Jeff on Instagram has been posting some of the videos of some of our seniors and some of our other kids that have them. So if you've got those, share those with us as well, so he can get their names out there. College coaches are always looking for different things. If you're a junior, you need to fill out the NCAA clearinghouse information. That NCAA clearinghouse is governed by all the colleges. You've got to have that if you want to play at the next level. JUCO is the only one I think that doesn't necessarily require, but NAIA on that does. So I don't remember what it costs, $95 to do it to get your son's name in there. They don't necessarily do anything to help with recruiting, but if recruiters know that you've got it filled out, they tend to pay a little bit more attention to you as well. Okay? Anybody else have any questions? We wait until we make the team. And so what we'll do is once we know the teams, I'll give them another one to bring home, because I'm sure between now and then they'll probably lose it. Kind of like their homework sometimes. But they'll have that sheet. If you're keeping track of it, we'll be okay. But that way, at least you know they made the team and they had a contract. But the packet will be something that you can look back on during the season. If you have a question about something, I can't remember if we talked about this, and you don't know how to answer it, shoot me an email or shoot one of us an email, and maybe we can answer it for you. Okay?
Did the players and the parents both have to watch the video if they weren't here?
Yes.
What if there was one parent here, but the child, do both of them?
As long as the parent and one of the, like, I know we've got some families have multiple kids that are trying out. If the parent was here and one of the kids was here, I'm okay with that. We'll still cover the contract with those kids. So we'll go in depth with that probably after we've made a team, so they know exactly what we're coming from. But if they're not here, they definitely have to watch it, and there's a little form we have to fill out for it. Okay, anybody else? What's up?
Real quick, just in case you all want to follow our page, it's Bonner_Bravesman Basketball. I would tell you to encourage, because, you know, with me, I'm going to be, you know, shouting the kid out a lot. If you know about their social media presence, like, kind of make sure that it doesn't say anything crazy on their bio, because, you know, coaches are going to come, the first thing they're going to do is go straight to their Instagram. You know, they don't want to see anything on there, you know, vulgar or anything like that to kind of, you know, deteriorate them away from their profile. So just make sure it looks clean. You know, something, you know, the seniors in here, I know you guys know about Instagram, but close friends, put some stuff in your close friends so everyone else doesn't see it. But, you know, make sure that your page looks clean so when people do come by and see it, it looks presentable.
And guys, our kids, parents, we know this, that going after jobs, that's one of the things that employers look at, is that social media. And so kids, we haven't been lying to you about it. Make sure you're taking care of it.